Boy, it's really scary being unconscious. The things you imagine. I thought 2 little leprechauns and a red-headed giant were going through my pockets.
And this is the hall where my locker is. Kelly, we've been at school for hours. Will we be going in a classroom today?
Yes, Connie, I'm coming to you from Fort Lauderdale, and we're rocking to celebrate summer's last hurrah, Labor Day weekend. I don't even know why we're on, because you'd have to be a real no-life.
When Married with Children first aired, it did more than just shatter the standards of the traditional family sitcom. It sparked scandals and controversies that shook American television. The show wasn't afraid to take risks, blending crude humor, sexual innuendo, and sharp satire into a mirror of real-life frustrations and flaws. Behind the laughter were intense casting sessions, backstage tensions, and even real-life tragedies that haunted its stars. Ed O'Neill, who became the unforgettable Al Bundy, recalled walking into his 1986 audition, slumping into a chair, and sighing, a simple gesture that instantly convinced the creators they had found their man. Katie Seagal brought Peggy Bundy to life with flaming red hair and irreverent charm, while Christina Applegate, cast after the pilot, embodied Kelly Bundy's mix of innocence and slyness. David Faustino stepped in as Bud after an earlier actor failed to click, and Amanda Bearse as Marcy rounded out the satirical counterbalance next door. Their chemistry was undeniable, quickly bonding them into a little family on and off screen. But the show's boldness pushed boundaries that soon ignited national outrage. In 1989, the episode Her Cups Runneth Over, featuring lingerie shopping, innuendos, and provocative humor, became the tipping point. A Michigan mother named Terry Ricalta launched a boycott campaign against the series, urging advertisers to pull support and branding the sitcom immoral. Instead of collapsing, Married with Children thrived in the spotlight of controversy, cementing its place as one of television's most daring and subversive sitcoms. The boycott against Married with Children quickly escalated after critics claimed the show was harmful to American families. Terry Ricalta's campaign gained national media attention, and within weeks, major advertisers like Gillette, Warner Lambert, and Coca-Cola announced they would pull their sponsorships, a devastating blow to Fox, which was still struggling to compete with ABC, CBS, and NBC. Under pressure, Fox pulled the episode I'll See You in Court from its schedule, as it featured multiple sexually explicit scenes and even touched on eavesdropping in a hotel room, a subject considered far too risque at the time. Still, Fox Entertainment president Jamie Kellner refused to fully bow to the criticism, arguing that the backlash was selective since other shows aired equally bold content without facing the same outrage. Ed O'Neill later admitted, "The pressure was intense, but I think it made the show sharper. We had to be more creative in how we delivered the laughs." Katie Seagal recalled those years as a time when every line and gesture was under scrutiny, while Christina Applegate found herself thrust into the spotlight as an unexpected teenage sex symbol, facing immense public pressure before she was even 18. Ironically, the controversy had the opposite effect of what critics intended. Ratings skyrocketed. Before the boycott, Season 3 ranked just number 48 nationwide, but from Seasons 4 through 8 the show consistently stayed in the top 50. Controversy had become the best advertising tool Fox could have asked for. Still, the fallout left scars. Later reruns on cable and DVD often featured cut scenes or altered dialogue to satisfy stricter censorship standards, frustrating hardcore fans who felt the Bundys' raw spirit had been watered down. Fox, however, leaned into the notoriety, branding the show as a sitcom not for every household, a direct contrast to wholesome family programs like The Cosby Show. Even Ricalta later admitted that, while she still disapproved, she had inadvertently helped the show become more famous. Critics labeled it a textbook case of the Streisand effect, where attempts to silence something only make it spread further. The 1989 boycott not only transformed public perception of the Bundys, it marked a turning point in American television, proving that a crude, edgy sitcom could not just survive but thrive in the middle of a cultural firestorm. Yet behind the cameras, tensions were beginning to simmer. Fame, grueling schedules, and personal struggles soon gave rise to rifts and tragedies. One of the earliest conflicts erupted in 1989, when TV Guide released a special cover featuring only Ed O'Neill and Katie Seagal, excluding Amanda Bearse and David Garrison. Amanda felt deeply undervalued, and though Ed stayed silent at the time, he later admitted he regretted not speaking up. Their relationship grew more strained over the years, reaching a breaking point in 1993 when Amanda chose not to invite Ed to her wedding, believing his presence might make guests uncomfortable. Ed took it as a personal insult, and their rift lasted for years. Tragedy also struck the set in 1991, when Katie Sagal, whose pregnancy had been written into the storyline, lost her baby in the 7th month. Writers quickly rewrote the arc, turning what was meant to be a new Bundy family member into a dream sequence for Al, sparing Katie further grief. She later described it as the most difficult period of her life, though she was supported by her castmates. The following year, in an attempt to refresh the show, writers introduced Peg's nephew, Seven, but fans revolted, flooding Fox with angry letters until the character was quietly dropped without explanation. Meanwhile, the grueling reality of performing live in front of 300 to 500 audience members each week created its own kind of pressure. Ed O'Neill, in particular, often had to fight to keep the energy consistent, knowing that every reaction from the audience would shape how the episode played on screen. Performing physical comedy often involved false collisions or demanding stunts that left the cast with multiple minor injuries. For Katie Sagal, returning to the set after her personal loss was an enormous emotional challenge, especially since Peggy Bundy had to maintain her sarcastic, humorous demeanor as if nothing had happened. Christina Applegate recalled that while they played a dysfunctional family on screen, there were still moments of real closeness off-screen. Even so, the demanding filming schedule and constant public scrutiny sometimes strained relationships. Minor disagreements could quickly be amplified by the press, painting the picture of a drama-filled production. The turbulence wasn't limited to behind the scenes. On screen, several episodes provoked deeply divided reactions, putting the show at risk of being pulled from the air more than once. Over its 11 seasons, Married with Children repeatedly delivered episodes that either had audiences laughing uncontrollably or so outraged they called for the show's cancellation. At the top of that list was Her Cups Runneth Over, which sparked a nationwide boycott campaign. Another was I'll See You in Court, a controversial story about a lawsuit over a sex tape accidentally recorded at a hotel. The series was also unafraid to tackle political and social themes. The Egg and I satirized the animal rights movement, igniting heated debate between supporters and critics. Meanwhile, No Ma'am introduced a men's group led by Al Bundy opposing feminism. The episode was criticized for promoting sexist ideas while also praised by some viewers as sharp social commentary. Ed O'Neill later revealed he saw No Ma'am as a way to poke fun at extremism on all sides, not an attack on any group in particular. Due to protests, many episodes were cut or had dialogue altered when re-aired to meet new television standards. Even so, some improvised moments slipped through. Ed O'Neill often used shoe store or bowling alley scenes to ad-lib, creating lines fans have quoted for decades. The show also scored big with guest appearances, including comedian Sam Kinison, whose explosive energy sent ratings soaring. But Married with Children's boldness sometimes put its younger cast members in uncomfortable positions. Christina Applegate remembered filming revealing scenes at just 17, admitting she felt pressured, knowing the scrutiny she'd face from both the audience and press. Katie Sagal recalled filming a stair fall repeatedly just to get the perfect camera angle, leaving her with real bruises. What all these controversial episodes had in common was the ability to tackle sensitive subjects under the guise of dark comedy. That quality set Married with Children apart from other sitcoms of its era, but it also meant living under the constant risk of censorship or cancellation. Despite the pressures, the cast and crew maintained a no-compromise approach, preserving the show's edgy humor through to its final season. Those once labeled shocking episodes have since become a vital part of the Bundy legacy, remembered by fans as proof of a time when television dared to push boundaries. When the stage lights finally went dark and the live audience's laughter faded into memory, each member of the Bundy family stepped onto their own path, carrying both the glory and scars of creating one of the most controversial sitcoms in television history. In 1997, Married with Children ended after 11 seasons, but the cast learned of its cancellation in shockingly casual ways. Fox never held a press conference or official announcement. Ed O'Neill was in Ohio when a fan asked him if the show had ended. Surprised, he called the crew to confirm. Christina Applegate, meanwhile, found out while driving, when she heard it announced on the radio. Even so, Ed later reflected, we laughed a lot, and that's what I want to keep. After saying goodbye to the Bundys, the cast forged new chapters in their careers. Ed O'Neill staged a massive comeback as Jay Pritchett in Modern Family, 2009 to 2020, earning Emmy nominations and redefining the modern TV dad. In 2024, he portrayed Donald Sterling in a drama about an NBA scandal. Though talk of an animated Married with Children reboot persisted, It was officially canceled in 2025, ending reunion hopes. Katie Sagal cemented her reputation with a Golden Globe-winning role as Gemma Teller in Sons of Anarchy, proving her range beyond Peggy Bundy. In 2025, she appeared at Phoenix Fan Fusion, where thousands of fans pressed her for Bundy secrets. Christina Applegate also thrived with the critically acclaimed series Dead to Me, but in 2021 revealed her MS diagnosis, forcing her to scale back. In 2025, she released a memoir sharing her journey through career highs, personal struggles, and resilience. That same year, she was hospitalized with a kidney infection, an incident that alarmed fans who sent thousands of messages and flowers to the hospital. David Fino chose a quieter path while staying connected to fans, voicing multiple characters in The Legend of Korra and Dragons, Race to the Edge, while frequently attending conventions where he happily signed autographs and shared filming memories. Amanda Burse moved behind the camera, directing numerous popular TV episodes, and in 2025, she appeared at Akon Expo to discuss her directing career and address her past conflicts with Ed, a topic that still fascinates audiences. Remarkably, nearly 3 decades after its finale, Married with Children continues to thrive in popular culture. Streaming rights now belong to Hulu and Peacock, introducing the Bundys to an entirely new generation. In Australia, 2025 figures showed viewership up 4.4 times from the previous year, a clear sign of the show's enduring appeal. Many younger viewers have shared on social media how surprised they were that an old sitcom could still feel this sharp and fearless. On its legacy, Katie Sagal once said, "We broke every mold of the family sitcom." The Bundys were not perfect, but they reflected the reality of many people's lives. Critics agree, noting that the show's success wasn't about making viewers love every character, but ensuring they remembered them, whether out of love, hate, or debate. Today, with TV and streaming saturated by dark comedies and norm-breaking sitcoms, it's easy to forget that the Bundys paved the way. Their biting lines, satirical plots, and unapologetic tone inspired shows like The Simpsons, Family Guy, and It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Married with Children not only redefined the family sitcom standard, it set a precedent for series unafraid to tackle provocative topics. Ed O'Neill has said the show's appeal was in reflecting real life, self-pitying, funny, and brutally honest. To this day, the cast believes that brand of satire has never lost its value. Even with the animated reboot canceled in 2025, the Bundys continue to attract new fans through streaming, where younger audiences discover a phenomenon that once shook America. If you've ever laughed, been shocked, or argued about the Bundys, share in the comments the scene or behind-the-scenes story you'll never forget. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss more behind-the-scenes stories from iconic sitcoms, the shows that changed the way we see television forever.